In this next module, we'll help you integrate QST into your clinic, or as I like to call it, how to convert more patients into paying clients. Running through a checklist will help you set your prices, how to create brand and treatment awareness of simple orthodontics in your clinic, how to create an online digital presence, not just for simple orthodontics, but in general for your other services. Importantly, how to identify potential patients and then build a list of interested clients. We'll explain how we need to empathise with the patient and understand their emotional problem, and then dispel the myths of simple orthodontics, which allows us to reinforce their problems and then convert interested patients into paying clients. And lastly, we'll discover what happens and the results. So firstly, let's look at setting your prices. You need to use your local knowledge and expertise in the surrounding demographic to be able to do this. Knowing how much disposable income people will have is a good way to find out what kind of funds they can make available to treatments like this. We think it's a very good idea to find out what your competition are charging and that of local specialists, and this will allow you to set competitive prices. As a guide though, we recommend that you charge around half the price of clear aligners. But whatever you choose as the price, they should reflect a fair profit for your services whilst offering good value to your patients. Now, did you know that around 25 to 35% of your patients are unhappy with their smile in some shape or form? What we're going to do now is help you find them. Once you've completed the online modules, you need to work closely with your clinic team to create interest and intrigue in the waiting room. And you do this by getting your front of house to put up your posters and patient leaflets so that they're visible in the waiting room and patients can pick them up and have a read. And we also make available for you waiting room videos which you can have playing on a TV that again garner interest and intrigue of your new treatment and simple orthodontics. Taking that a step further, have you considered press advertising just locally in local magazines or newspapers? What about creating videos and blogs? We'll talk about that in a minute. You could even run QST open days and offer free assessments. One thing we can't get away from today is the old internet and digital marketing. It's important that you speak to your web team and ask them to add a page, if you haven't already got one, about simple orthodontics or quick straight teeth so that you can send online traffic to that page. You also need to make sure that page has a very strong call to action like book your appointment now with Dr. XYZ. And what you do need to do on your website though is create content about quick straight teeth and simple orthodontics. This could be a video, could be a blog article, could be case studies. What you do is then send that traffic to your social media. Then your social media links back to your website. Why not run local Facebook ads to promote your new treatments? These are relatively inexpensive these days. You could also run Google PPC campaigns for keywords like straighter teeth. But whatever you do, you need to make sure that you run remarketing or targeting campaigns. So that, for example, once a patient or an interested person has been on your website, once they leave your website and land on another page somewhere else, could be a news site or a car site or a clothes site, they see your brand imagery on that site and that builds your authority. Because what the patient thinks is, oh, I've gone to this web page about clothes or beauty or whatever it may be, and they still see your dental clinic brand or QST brand. So once we've started to create interest both online and in the waiting room, we now need to identify which of those patients might be interested in having straighter teeth. Now, I'm sure many of you have got some very experienced front of house staff who are very happy to talk and discuss with your patients about their smile and could they improve it. But if you don't, we have a very good way, a proven way, that you can actually identify these patients really quickly. And that's by the use of a survey form. Now, what you need to do is create a form, and we'll put one on a link underneath this video, which you can actually tailor for your own logo. But the question number 2 of just 3 questions, and it literally takes 10 seconds to answer, is how would you rate the shape, shade, and position of your teeth out of 10? Now, if you think about this, shape, composite, that's another treatment you can offer. Shade, bleaching, another treatment you can offer. And of course, position, which will be simple orthodontics. And we class this as A, B, C, align, bleach, and composite. Better than shaving enamel off teeth and sticking some veneers on. The second part of the question is, what concerns you most? And if there was something we could do to get you closer to a 10, would you be interested? So what we're asking the patients to do is tell you their problem. I've got a wonky tooth. And then you're asking them, would they be interested? So this is how you identify the patients who've got a problem and are interested in having a solution. And what we do then is this is building up a bank of potential patients. And what happens is that your clinic team need to liaise closely with the dentist to make sure that you're all talking the same conversation. And you do this with empathy. You have to understand that the patient is not coming to you with toothache, they have an emotional problem. And the purchase of this problem solution needs to be justified. Now, to empathise, you need to thank them for taking their survey form, completing the questions. As an example, on question number 2, you said that you had a, for example, wonky tooth. Ask them how this problem makes them feel. Once they tell you, you can then explain that you have a treatment that they might be suitable for. And at this stage, just introduce QST and simple orthodontics. Now, the way in which you want to do this is firstly you want to dispel the myths, because when you say orthodontics, most patients will think it's very expensive, it's ugly Betty braces, it takes 2 years, and it's uncomfortable because you're going to wear this appliance in your mouth for such a long period of time. But of course, having just completed your course on quick straight teeth and simple orthodontics, you know that this is absolutely not the case. Explain to them that cases like theirs, mild to moderate, straightening up the social smile, will only take around 4 to 6 months. Therefore, it is not as expensive as full orthodontics. Now, if a person is going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on an emotional purchase, it has to be justified. So what you need to do is show them. Give them your pink Typodon. Let them see the clear ceramic brackets and the near tooth-coloured wire. Let them touch it, feel it and see for themselves. And once you've done that, you can then demonstrate the type of results that can be obtained with before and after clinical cases. To reinforce their emotional issues, understand their problem. As an example, I understand how this might make you feel. And then tell them you can assess their case for suitability at no cost, because you can ask your nurse to take intraoral photographs, and then you can upload them to the QST forum or email to your local QLab for advice. Now, once you get that advice back, and hopefully they'll be suitable for quick straight teeth, contact the patient, advise of the suitability. Now, if they don't want to proceed, you just simply bring it up at their next checkup. Here's an example. The patient comes in, sits down. Do you remember the last checkup? You said you were unhappy with this wonky tooth. Is that something you'd like to have a look at now? Is that something you would like to proceed with? Shall we perhaps do this? Because in 6 months, you will have straighter teeth. Their emotional problem will be no more. Of course, if the answer is yes, then book an appointment, take the impressions, and send the case to the lab. The results? Well, you will be amazed, because as soon as you get patients that have had your treatment, got a great solution, they will not be able to help themselves tell their family and friends. They'll be amazed at the results, and they will start to refer your name and your clinic. They say the value's in the list. Your list will grow. Of course, your patients are very happy and very satisfied. Bottom line, well, it'll increase it. You'll see a dramatic increase in the profitability of your clinic.